feel like I know a lot more than what I knew going in. So just ready to play.
What's it like living a year with that loss?
Yeah, it's difficult for sure. There's not really too much you can say about it. We just got beat last year straight up. So really focusing a lot of our energy this year into beating them. Whether that was summer workouts, winter workouts, strength and conditioning, all that kind of been focused on them because that's our first goal every year. We didn't take care of business last year, so we know what we got to do this year.
Did anything change with how you guys approach the offseason? You lose a game like that, the way you lost it, just from a player's perspective?
Yeah, from a player's perspective, I feel like there's a lot more leadership going into this offseason. And even, Coach Mick, he's the best strength coach around, but, he stepped it up too. We all just felt like we needed to pull a little bit more of our weight, so we ended up doing that, making the adjustments that we need to be made so that we're able to execute this game coming up.
But you said a week or two ago, one or two of those drops have rubbed you the wrong way. You're doing a little bit of that shred too. Come up with the big throw over your shoulder and then the third down late from CJ, be able to adjust. Is that gratifying to you've shown that progress and how you're making those tough catches again the way you want, or just part of the job, I guess?
Yeah, just part of the job, I would say. CJ put the balls where they were needed to be, and I was able to make plays on them. So it's something I expect to do, not something that really I'm taken aback by, because we do it every day in practice. We're continually working our craft, so just focusing on executing the plays to the best of our ability.
So when you're over there on the Monarch today, how much have you changed the weekly routine recently just to make sure that everything is where you need it to be this time?
I feel like it's been relatively the same. I feel like the main goal of my week is to get my body back by Saturday. So really spend a lot of time in the training room, getting my legs right, my shoulders, all that type of stuff. Making sure I'm able to play at full capacity, because being healthy is probably one of the most underrated things that comes with being a football player. Like, if you feel healthy, your game's at a whole new level. So just staying in the training room, getting right with the guys, and getting on the Monarch before practice, get your hands activated on that type of stuff.
CJ said after the game, you've been dealing with a lot more stuff physically than we know about, or that you don't want to use that as an excuse. I know that. I mean, what percent do you think you've been playing at for the last few weeks?
Sure. Well, there's a saying that you're never going to play a football game at 100%. So, this season has been a battle for a lot of guys on the team. They might not show it, but everyone's going through something physically, mentally, emotionally. So I would say you're never really playing the game at 100%, but your goal is to get as close as you can by Saturday. And with the help of our training staff and our strength staff and our coaches, and all the outlets they give us here at Ohio State, they end up doing a good job of that.
How do you, after as he brought up a drop, how do you mentally, like cornerbacks, you got to put the last play behind you no matter what happens, is the mantra. How do you do that as a receiver and stuff? How many targets you're going to get in the game anyway, but have you learned how to manage that? You understand?
Yeah, it's the same principle. Just put it behind you, nothing you can do about it. Obviously, it kind of sucks in the moment, but the next play might be 3rd and 10. The next drive might be the game-winning drive. So you got to really hone in on those next plays coming up.
Emeka, you guys have won at least 3 games this year in the fourth quarter. Taking to the fourth quarter. What have y'all learned about, I guess, the toughness from that aspect of being a team of, no matter what it takes, you get the job done at the end of the day? How has that helped this team, I guess, now looking back on it, headed into this game?
I feel like that's an area where we've drastically improved since last year. And I think it started really with the Rose Bowl, and just coming out in the second half way stronger than we did in the first half. That's something that we kind of emphasized and hung our hat on in the offseason. So we broke up the offseason in the quarters, and once we got to the fourth quarter of the offseason, that was really the toughest environment that we had to face, whether that was 3-hour lifts or team runs and all that type of stuff. So Coach Mick did a really good job of training us for that, and the leaders stepped up in that moment. CJ, Kate Stover, all these type of guys, they step up in those moments in the fourth quarter when you really need them, and they're here for the team, and they set the example and they set the tone of what the next few drives are going to look like.
When did it kind of hit you that Dallin Hayden, if needed, would be mature enough to handle the role as a true freshman? You're a pretty mature guy yourself. He comes across very mature, but when did it kind of hit you that yeah, this guy, if we need him, he's mature enough to handle it.
Yeah, he's always handled his business ever since he stepped into the building. Dallin's a guy that really, he's been working hard at the running back position, kind of learning from guys like Trey and Mayan, and he's done a great job thus far this season. As you guys can see, he scored 3 touchdowns last game, so stepping into that role is really big. And you don't really want to bottleneck someone by saying, oh, he's a freshman, he should only do so much. But at the end of the day, he's an all-around football player, and he did a great job in that game for us.
Emeka, how hard is it to replicate the intensity of this week when you're training for it in the off season, during the season? I mean, it's a different feel around here this week, but can you replicate that intensity, that feeling, those butterflies, knowing it's game?
Something that I always say is that it's a slow build, so you kind of don't want to let your emotions get the best of you early in the week. You're slow building towards Saturday till the foot hits the ball. So we're kind of let those emotions stir up and bottle up. We're gonna let it all fly on Saturday.
How hard has it been to just stay emotionally connected to the season? Like, you guys have 3 goals at the start of the season, right? Mm-hmm. It's now week 12, and you are just getting your first chance to get one of them. Mm-hmm. Has that made this last 3 months that much harder?
Well, we always know our 3 goals are going to come in the back stretch of the season, so we kind of just been focusing on staying on pace. Every game is as important as the next one, so kind of just staying on pace, staying consistent, executing the way that we need to. And now we're looking at all 3 of our goals right in the face. We have a huge opportunity, so it's time to just tough up and go get them.
Emeka, you campaigning for? It seemed like when they motion you and the ball, you're pretty effective there. Are you mentioning that to people in the building and asking for a couple more carries here and there?
Nah, I don't say. You don't really try to ask them anything. You ask them what you can do to help the team succeed. So I've been trying to do my best in that way, whether that's blocking on the perimeter, catching passes, running the ball, special teams. So whatever it takes for our team to win, I'm going to do.
Have you enjoyed that aspect of this offense where I think there's been a couple games where you've had 3 or 4 carries. There's been a couple games where you've had 1, but it's been effective. Mm-hmm. Do you like doing that? Is that something you enjoy doing? Just getting the ball in your hands and letting you go to work, or would you rather be out there consistently just running out?
I do enjoy it. I like just having the rock in my hands, and I feel like I'm able to do some things with it in my hands. So and it also helps set up the offense for different plays, whether that's play action or running up the middle with motions, just to keep the defense in check and stuff like that. So I feel like it's been an asset for our offense this far this season. So I'm gonna keep building on that, and hopefully I can do something special when I carry the ball.
I know in recruiting there's a ton of talk about this game and what this rivalry means. But you're from West Coast. You're not someone that grew up inundated in it. Were you surprised at what it felt like to go into that stadium last year? And do you think that you were adequately mentally prepared for what this rivalry means to you?
I would say I was absolutely not prepared at all. I didn't really know what it meant until you really played in it, and I probably still wouldn't know what it meant unless we lost to them last year, and we did. So I feel like us as a team, we kind of got into a lull, just beating them year after year. Kind of got into last year expecting the same, so that was kind of a wake-up call for us. But now the rivalry's back, full force, so we're ready to go take them on.
Is that something that you've had to express to the freshmen who are here now, the young guys that were not in that game a year ago?
As much as you express it, they're not going to understand. Not until you play them, not until you play them or you lose them. So, yeah.
I don't want to. You're 19, 20 years old, which means your entire life you just kind of said it. You just thought you were going to walk in there and win it again. Well, that's what you're used to. Mm. You're not used to seeing the other way. So, how does that more invest you when the first time you get to play them and be a part of a game that you thought, oh, Ohio State wins this game, even if it is all this extra stuff? Mm. How does that further invest a kid from Washington into this rivalry?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, playing them, I do truly believe it's the greatest rivalry in the world, especially after playing them. And I feel like this game is going to be one that goes down in history, one for the books. So I feel like that last year's experience helped me, like you said, really invest myself into the culture of Ohio State and the culture of the rivalry. And I fully understand what it means now.
Is there a different mindset when you know that your role and help whether you win or lose is a little bit more expanded. Last year you were the kick returner and kind of went back into other spaces. Is there extra emphasis for you just because you can actually help this team win this year in a different on the field on Saturday, not just in practice?
Yeah. Even if I wasn't playing, there's tons of roles that every guy has, whether that's cheering on the team or making sure guys are right to play, they have the right gear, they have all that type of stuff. So we don't want anyone's role to go unnoticed. We need all hands on deck to win this game, all 120 players. So we need everybody to be prepared to do their job and execute properly so that we're able to win.
Ultimately, what's
2 more questions
what's
for
different
Emeka.
about this game? Is the hitting that much harder? Is the crowd that much more intense? I mean, last year pregame, I remember being on the field. There was a lot of crowd noise chattering at you guys early. I mean, what did you think surprised you about the difference from what you expected versus what it was?
I would say it's all of the above, the things you just mentioned. This game's very personal to everyone on the field and everyone in the stands. So I think that's a little bit of what makes it different, when you play someone who's not your rival or just not a conference game or anything like that. Obviously you want to win and you want to execute the right way, but there's not bad blood between the teams like there is here. So, we're ready to, step into that ring on Saturday and, give it our all and come out here with the dub.
Emeka, what has Xavier Johnson meant to this team this year?
I feel like a couple of people have said it. He's a Swiss Army knife. He does everything. He's on all 4 special teams units. Running back, wide receiver. He could play DB if you really needed him to. So he's ready to step into any role that Coach Day or anyone on the staff gives him, and he executes it to his full potential. So he's someone I really look up to when it comes to just doing your job and doing it the right way.
How much confidence does it give you guys when you have a guy like that whatever role you put him in, he's going to be able to execute?
Extreme confidence, and that's the type of people you want on the field. So you try to get him on the field as much as you can, whether that's special teams or offense. And if he's in, that his job is done. It's good. His guy's not going to make the tackle. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to run the right route, et cetera, et cetera. So having guys like that, and the more you can build, and having guys like that at all 11 positions on the field, then you have yourself a really disciplined and dangerous team.
Great, Emeka. Thank you very much.